Coach, I mean, these kids, I guess the upperclassmen were in a 4.3 2 years ago, a 3.4 last year, and now you guys are kind of going to be doing a little bit of all of that. How does that transition maybe become a little easier with when they've kind of experienced maybe a little bit of everything at this point?
A lot of times football really is just learning language, because there's a lot of concepts and things that they carry over, and it just might be one system called this, the next one calls it that. So more than anything, it's learning the terminology, the language, and it's not just about what you do; it's more about how you do it. So one thing we've done throughout this entire quarantine process and all the Zoom meetings and everything else, I tell you what, like we've gone over and over the install, I don't know how many times, at least through meetings and through talking through it. So now we're actually getting a chance to go out and do it on the field, which is great. We've been waiting for that. But our guys done a great job with learning it. And you're talking about a veteran player who has experience in a couple different systems. That certainly helps him.
All right, Parrish, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, who are some of your players who are getting more reps right now because Sam Williams is away? He's unavailable. Who are some of those guys in that mix?
Yeah, I think today was day one, and a lot of times it's like anything else. When a guy's down, it becomes everyone collectively as a defense all step up, and we're cross training several guys, not just at that particular position Sam plays, but we're cross training a lot of guys, because we're really preparing for, number one, we want to see guys play different spots. We haven't had a chance to see these guys practice until today, and number two, we're preparing ourselves to, okay, maybe there's a week throughout the season where we have several guys out at one spot because of COVID or whatever else. And it's like, you've got to have answers ready. So, I talked to the defense about it just this morning, again, about how important it is to be a guy that can cross-train, learn more than one spot. And so, there's a combination of several guys that are filling in where Sam was.
What's your take on your defensive line? Obviously, there were a lot of snaps lost at those interior positions. So what do you see there as you guys get started?
Number one, I just see guys with a great approach. I love how that group's working. I think, they're hungry, and there's good and bad to everything. So obviously when you lose guys that played a lot of snaps, you lose those snaps. So that's the negative part of it. But I think the positive is the other guys see opportunity. You're a football player, you see, okay, man, like the guy that played the majority of the snaps last year is not there anymore. This is a great chance for me to go earn that spot and show what I can do. And so I think a lot of times that really creates great competition at practice. And so far in our walkthroughs, meetings, and practice today, that's shown up that way.
All right, Neil, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, DJ, kind of following up on what Parrish just asked. I know you've had a lot of year one at different places, Maryland, Michigan, that kind of thing. Have you ever gone into a place where the front seven was kind of this inexperienced?
I'd have to really think back. I mean, obviously, I'm sure at some point I have, but I don't know like a year off the top of my head right now. But I think you take every one of these experiences in their own individual way, because even when you say, this group has X amount of snaps or X amount of starters coming back or whatever it is, those things are still all individually based. You're dealing with different personalities, different situations, and everything else. So I think it's hard sometimes just liking things to, this was like that year. Because I think sometimes as a coach, if you do that, you may find out down the road, but you made the wrong, the wrong perception about what was going to happen, how guys will react or respond or whatever it is, in a good or bad way. And so that's how we'll approach this and take it. I like the approach our guys have had. I know maybe snap-wise, not as experienced as some other places or other years, but they really are taking ownership in it. And we got guys, like Ryder and Jaquez and Momo. And I mean, there's a whole group of guys that are really like taking ownership in what's going on and being great leaders and setting the tone for the whole group.
All right, Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, DJ, to kind of piggyback off of what Neil was talking about, you've been through so many day ones, and knowing that it's going to be much different on the last day, what do you look for on that first day, and what were maybe some encouraging things, or did Ole Miss meet the expectations, your group meet the expectations of what you expect to have from them on day one?
Every day one I've ever been a part of is like, you come off the field feeling like, we have so many things to work on, which is true, but it's day one. To me, all you're looking for day one is really, as coaches and as players collectively, that we're all like upholding the standard and setting the standard for how we're going to do things in terms of running to the ball, being urgent about what we do, in our communication, going from drill to drill at practice, like all those little things make the biggest difference. And there's plenty of scheme stuff to clean up, and we'll get to all that. But to me, you've got to learn how to practice and like what is our standard as a team, as a defense, to how we operate, how we handle our business. And like day one's your first day to go put that on film and go show it. And then day two becomes the first day you get the chance to go, clean that up, improve it, talk about the things where we need to be. And, so that's really, I think it's the practice habits the most important to me.
All right, Nate, go ahead.
How important is kind of that middle of the defense going to be with you? And that's kind of where the experience is with Momo and Jacquez and Lakia.
Well, it's critical. I mean, obviously from just a scheme standpoint of the guys in the middle of your defense, but really it starts with the communication, and those are the guys that are the quarterbacks of the defense. They're making the checks and the calls and getting guys where they need to be, and really setting the tone and tempo by their demeanor and their conviction about the calls they're making. So they've got to know what the D line's doing, what the DBs are doing, and communicate all those things. So that's where it starts first of all, and then you talk about, okay, now once the ball's snapped, I mean, those are naturally the guys that are around the ball the most. They're right in the middle of the defense, and so we're expecting big things from those guys, and I think they're expecting big things from themselves.
All right, go ahead, Nick.
With the COVID protocols in place, were there any things that you weren't able to do in this first day of practice that most years you would have been able to do, or is everything just kind of same as?
The biggest thing is kind of how we're meeting right now. Altered, like we're breaking up special teams at 2 different times because we don't have everyone in the same room at once. So that was a little staggered. Obviously everyone's mask on the entire meeting. We're in there, we're all together, and we're kind of spaced out a little bit. But I don't know. Once we got on the field, I don't feel there was anything different other than coaches. It's hard to get used to. You're wearing a mask in practice, but when you're trying to blow a whistle, that becomes complicated. I caught myself a couple of times on that, but other than that, we're rolling, we're practicing.
Go ahead, Ben.
Yeah, DJ, the newcomers like the Canada kids and the other transfers, first impressions of them, what would you say you thought about them when you saw them on the first day?
Right. I mean, you can group everyone, freshman, transfer, senior. You could really group everyone all together right now with our coaching staff, because it was all of our first day together on the practice field, which is obviously a unique circumstance right now in August saying that, but that's what it is. And so we're thrilled. Like I really feel really good about the guys that we have acquired, however they've gotten here through recruiting, freshman, transfer, or just our team of existing players. Overall, like I said, I think our guys prepared really well. It was a good first day in those terms, and I'm excited to see us, keep going and keep making improvements.
All right, Nate.
I guess on those COVID protocols and stuff, you see some teams wearing that face shield stuff. Are you guys wearing those? I know some kids said it was like breathing in a Ziploc bag and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've never experienced it myself wearing it. Our guys are wearing it, and they have said it. But again, it's just one of those things that you just gotta, here's the deal. Let's get used to it. And say anything else, when it's new, first off, it usually feels different. So you comment about it, but you can get used to anything, I feel. So go get used to it.
Are they fogging up, stuff like that? Like, how does it actually affect them from, I guess, your point of view?
It'd be a great question for the players. What I have noticed is some of the guys that also wear a visor. So if you have the bottom shield and the visor, you got a pretty good chance of fogging up there. The other ones, I mean, it's still down in your mouth. So even if it fogs up, you still have vision.